Willowbrook School had always been quiet at night, its stone walls soaking up the dais laughter and echoing footsteps like old bones grumbling in sleep. But on the evening of November 1st, as rain streaked the windows and the clock in the main hall ticked toward midnight, something stirred awake in the darkness, something that had watched and waited for generations. Sara, a new student, stayed late after classes, determined to finish her art project before the competition deadline. Her curly hair glistened damp from the storm outside as she wiped a spot of ink from her sketchbook, glancing nervously at the tall windows. She wasn't alone. Across the room, Kevin, quiet and smart, tapped away on a laptop. Their art teacher, Miss Allen, checked her phone in the hallway, her face pale in the harsh glow. The school's generator stuttered. Lights flickered and buzzed. At first, Sara thought it was the wind, but then she heard a faint, low humming, rising from the basement below. Kevin looked up. "Do you hear that?" he whispered. Sara nodded, heart thumping. "Maybe it's just pipes." Miss Allen peered through the classroom doorway. "Stay put, I'll check," she said. Her voice tried to be calm, but Sara noticed her shaking hands. Minutes passed. The humming grew louder. It wasn't the pipes. It sounded almost like chanting, muffled and strange. Kevin moved closer to Sara. "Miss Allen's been gone a while," Sara agreed. "Let's go find her." They tiptoed down the hall, shadows stretching long and thin toward the old library wing. To their left, the trophy cases glimmered eerily under failing lights, reflecting splashes of movement, something tall and dark, just out of sight. Sara pointed. "Did you?" Before she could finish, the humming snapped into a sharp whisper. "Run!" Kevin grabbed Sara's arm, pulling her behind a vending machine just as a figure drifted past the shape of a girl, her hair floating, her eyes empty, black coins in her face. "Who is that?" Sara's voice trembled. Kevin remembered a story his brother told him. They said a girl vanished here years ago after dissension. The school tried to keep it quiet. Nobody found her. They say she walks the halls when it storms. "She's not alone," Sara whispered. Inside the library, the chanting grew louder, and figures gathered, students in shadow, their faces lost, swaying in a circle around something on the floor. Suddenly, a teacher's shriek split the night. Sara and Kevin rushed forward, hearts pounding as they entered the library. Desks and chairs had been overturned, and in the center stood Miss Allen, pale and shaking, surrounded by the ghostly figures. "They won't let me leave," she gasped. Sara stared. The lead ghost, girl with a torn uniform, her name tag covered in blood, turned and spoke in a voice like ice. "You must answer their riddle, or stay forever." Kevin shook. "What riddle?" The girl smiled. "Why do the shadows in Willowbrook never fade?" Sara's mind raced. Sara's mind raced. "Because the school has secrets," she replied, daring the gaze of every ghostly student. The girl stared. Behind her, the circle of spirits hissed, their hollow voices blending with the rain. Miss Allen screamed as the ghosts closed in. "It's because we are the secret." The lights died. In perfect silence, Sara and Kevin held hands, forced to move only by instinct. They raced back into the hall, finding doors locked and windows fused by ancient locks. Shadows moved in every reflection, long arms reaching, cold breath on their necks. They remembered the legend, "Find the source break." The spell. They raced to the basement stairs as the humming grew impossibly loud. Down below, the air was thick and old. Portraits hung crooked on damp stone walls. In the far corner, a faded door stood partly open. Kevin crept forward, pushing it with his boot. Inside, hundreds of broken school trophies formed a strange shrine, a pile of things lost and never found. In the center sat the ghost of the vanished girl, weeping softly. Sara knelt. "What do you want?" The girl didn't look up. "I want someone to remember. I want someone to answer. Why no one cares for what's lost," Sara whispered. "We care. I care. Tell me your name." The girl managed a sad smile. "Elizabeth." Suddenly, a blinding light filled the room, shattering the gloom. The spirits recoiled, shrieking. Sara felt her body pulled upright by something unseen, a rush of cold and warmth. In a moment, she saw the ghosts of forgotten students, teachers, lost memories blanking in the new light, their faces sad but peaceful. Elizabeth's voice echoed, "Thank you for remembering. Now we can leave." The shadows faded. Sara and Kevin found themselves alone in the basement as the power returned and the storm outside stopped. The school was silent, still, as if holding its breath. Days later, Sara learned the story of Elizabeth was true. The records showed a girl lost in a storm decades ago, but nobody truly remembered her until now. Willowbrook School was different after that, warmer, a little brighter, and the shadows that once haunted the halls never returned. Miss Allen recovered, always ensuring plans never left anyone unnoticed. Kevin and Sara became friends for life. Bound by the night, they faced what hid in the school and proved that sometimes remembering the forgotten is the only way out of darkness. People whisper about Willowbrook even today, especially on stormy nights when the wind shakes the windows and the old clocks tick loudly. They say if you listen closely, you might hear singing deep below, reminding you. The shadows fade, but memories remain if someone cares enough to remember. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to press the bell icon for more stories.